Good morning and happy Friday, and welcome to the finale of Scale Modelcraft How-To Diorama. Now, I wanted to do this because I have made some pretty not dramatic but significant changes to my YouTube channel, and I just wanted to use this opportunity to explain it. So this week, what I did was I changed my entire format schedule to long form videos. In the past, I've had live streams for, gosh, now I've had this live stream going for 2 years and like 6 weeks or something like that. So that has been fine, and it's been okay, but the viewership has really plummeted. With the advent of having a membership area now, and a lot of the folks that are on the live streams are actually also members, I'm going to take the live stream, reduce it down in frequency to, I'm thinking once a month at this point. That's the working idea today. And that'll be in the membership area only. And I want to make sure that you don't consider this as a some kind of a, I don't know, a negative thing. There's a very, very good reason for it. And that brings us to the second thing that I've done this week. And that is I pulled all of my shorts, my video shorts. Yeah, I have no more shorts. I'm going. Anyway, no, I pulled all of my short videos from the channel, and most are going to be archived within the membership area. And so the channel will now only have long form videos. Now, this is the reason behind all of that. In YouTube, as a creator, you get categorized by what people want to see of your videos, your content, let's call it. And when you have a mix of content, one can muddy the other. So I had three forms of content primarily. I had YouTube shorts, daily shorts for a long time, even longer. No, not as long as the live stream, but almost. That was going on about 2 years, not quite as long as the live streams, but 2 years. And with that amount of data or whatever YouTube sees it as, and for the responses that I got, because the majority of the new viewers to the channel, the majority of the comments that I get, the majority of all engagement that I get is from YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts. And I'm sorry, I want to say hi to folks because Daniel's here, home front porch. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks very much for coming in. And Will is here. Thanks very much, Will, for coming in. I really appreciate it. So back to my little story here. And I'm sorry, Daniel here, go for it. Painting was in earlier too. I'm not sure if he's still here, but thanks very much for coming in, Daniel. So back to my story here. So because the vast majority, and I think even a lot of you folks here that are right here now, came on as shorts, my channel got kind of sectioned into a short producing channel because I did it most of my postings was that they were on a subject that was interesting but very niche, and not everybody watched every day, but I had so much traffic from shorts that anytime I would upload a long form video, which to my credit have not been the best videos, as well as the fact that they were infrequent, they were not consistent, that led to very, very low views. And I knew that they weren't necessarily bad videos. They weren't great videos, because if they were great videos, listen, that's the number one thing. This is not an algorithm thing. This is not a, shadow banned. The pure fact of YouTube is, if it's a good video, it's gonna get played. Period. No other metric matters. No other blame matters. It's just, if it's appealing to people, they're gonna watch it, and it will be recognized by the algorithm, and the algorithm will then push it out there to see if more people like it. So it's not a question of me saying, hey, the algorithm's against me or something like that. I've never believed that. I'm not one of those folks. I believe that the best content wins. But because the majority of my content and the focus was to shorts, when I did focus on those long forms, they didn't get any attention. By removing those other things, both live streams and shorts, because they do have a category, they do have a listing, they are a measured quantity on YouTube. By removing those, the only thing that you can see on my channel are long form videos. This was done specifically for that reason. So I immediately saw my views and my analytics, and I even have my analytics up. I can show you. It's kind of fun to see. And I'm not as concerned at this point as it was early in the year about losing the channel. We've made the decision. The channel is staying. That's not the issue. It's finding the best way to make it a viable way of earning dollars, way of bringing content out that people really enjoy, so they want to join programs that I come up with and they want to buy things and stuff like that, because this is from the very start a business. But it's a business based on my passion. And so that's the other part of doing this. I was trying to satisfy what I saw playing well, if you will, and it took me away from a lot of the things that I liked doing that are still part of diorama building, but I wasn't posting them because I didn't think people would be interested because that plays and this doesn't play and blah, blah, blah. So I just got off my path. I just got wacky and things took off and it just got too much. So by really pulling back on the reins and going back to the original reason why I started YouTube, number one, I wanted to work from home with my beautiful wife in our home. I have the shop and she works from the house. I wanted work and produce something that I love doing, and I think it's the best thing that I do. Now, I was in business for years and I was really good at that, but I don't want to do that anymore. But I do want to do the other thing that's very personally satisfying to me, and I think I have a lot of experience in, to give that to people. And I think the best way to make it a financially viable continuation is to do it through long form videos, because even 1 minute of a long form video watch is like 10 times, I don't have, this is not a, don't use this as a real thing, but it's like 10 times more valuable than a 60-second short. And that's the real thing. You know, here's how YouTube, and I'm not against YouTube. I love YouTube. I mean, it's taught me so much. And I watch those shorts like nobody's business. And that's the other thing I'm stopped doing. But anyway, as a business model, what YouTube has now done is they have devalued for a creator the short. But it's one of the most popular things on YouTube because there's no commitment, zero commitment. Now, that's not saying that people that come in every day and say hi, and there's a lot of them, and I haven't addressed this yet because there are some very special people that talk to me virtually every day, and that was through shorts, so I have to address that. But getting back to my little narrative here, the shorts kept people watching YouTube, which is YouTube's game, right? Their focus is getting engagement and connection, but it's doing it through fractional engagement through the people that are producing those shorts. Some of them do bananas, you know, but those are the Rock Hudsons, and those are the James Bonds, and those are the Anne Margarets, you know, the stars at the top of their game. Those are the people that are making money. And the people that are literally supporting the other parts of YouTube, those fractional little views, get nothing. I can show you over 5 years of doing this how much I have earned after monetization, which took me like 3+ years. It was bananas. Because my videos haven't been consistent, and I haven't been doing all the things I need to do, and I haven't concentrated on a pure strategy. I would literally go with the latest guru, and they're talking about you need to do this, and I'm like, well, I better try that because this isn't working, so I got to try that, and I just went on this path when the fact is I just need to stay consistent, which I have been lately with long form videos for the last 6 weeks. 8 weeks, I have put up long form videos that have launched consistently at midnight on Saturday the whole time. And that is the key. Those, if you don't like those videos, I get it. And if you only want to see those shorts, I get it. I have 13,130 subscribers at this point. And before I did this, I really thought this out, and I talked to Mrs. Modelcraft and I said, we have the potential to lose half, if not more, of all the subscribers, because I have statistical evidence that shows the vast majority of my viewers came from shorts. They signed up and subscribed from shorts last year during the build of my D&D diorama. And so I understand this, and I'm not just saying I don't care. That's not the point at all. What I'm saying is those folks that came on board to see something, I'm not, number one, going to do that content anymore. I'm going to do that content in a long form. And if you can stomach that and I make a good enough video, I hope you come back to that and you enjoy that. Now, so that's going forward. That's kind of all the beans right there. It's only going to be long form videos on the channel, period. I'm not going to put up a short. There's not going to be a special event. There's not going to be a live, nada. Long form videos. And they're all going to be about diorama building. Plus, they're going to be about coaching, but the coaching videos are going to go into membership, period. There are still some coaching videos that are come out public, and that's great. And maybe some in the future, but those are slated really for the coaching. So that's going to be a membership. I have archived all of these live streams. Those will be put up in membership, but there's this weird process in managing your videos and stuff in YouTube. And so I've got to migrate those over, and it takes a long time. So that's kind of where that's going. And then the other thing, the plus stuff that I want to add to those long form videos is the other things that I do in the shop. I've had lots of people that have expressed interest in me building this, showing them how to build it, possibly having a course, but I don't think courses are great. What I do like is the work that I've been doing with Bob Harris lately, and it's not a course. What it is Bob pays me basically a stipend per month. And then we get together 2 times a week. Actually, it's more because we're just talking back and forth. And that's part of it. I want to have that accessibility with people. But what we do is we get online and we get on like this, and he's there. It's not just me talking and him typing. He's there with me, and we're conversing back and forth. We sometimes do it on the phone, whatever. And we work on stuff. And he says, I'd like to see a puddle today. So I did a puddle. I'd really like to see how to do a little bit more on shrubs. And we do shrubs. And it has become such an enjoyable thing because I'm not only instructing or whatever, or showing somebody a technique that I've used or answering their question, which is on the onset, that's what we're talking about. It's really become this thing where we just have the ability to talk about stuff and the interrupted feedback of saying, no, I meant this. Because when I go into something and Bob says, I need to see a puddle, I think a puddle. But Bob was maybe thinking of something a little different. So that interaction, that real life personal interaction with somebody online while I'm working, because I use all the stuff that I use in live streams, when we're online, and you've seen some of the recordings, if you've seen some of my long form videos as of late, you see how I do that. And I've got one up there. It's like 2 hours long, but that's what we're doing because it's supposed to be 2 1-hour visits a week. But heck, I mean, sometimes we just get into it and it's like 2 hours and we're just online for 2 hours and it's fun and it's enjoyable. Bob is enjoying the heck out of it. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I'm getting content out of it. The content's doing pretty good. So that's another thing that I'm going to be trying to promote and bring forward, because I would love to have not just a membership where I can have special things, but also some folks that I get together weekly in a group, and then I can lower the cost, but in a group that we get together a couple of times a week and we work on dioramas. And I'm also open up the weekends for that. I have to understand that other folks that have, regular jobs and stuff like that I have to work throughout the week while I'm here. If you're retired, it's great, sure. But so I have options there, but I'm not like reducing the numbers of work, and I'm not trying to work-life balance, but though that's part of it, but it's just trying to focus my efforts toward one singular goal, which is number one, putting up long-form videos and coaching. So, and mentoring, I don't know what you call it. It's still developing, but it's doing really, really well. And the feedback, Bob gets really, really excited about stuff, and he puts his comments there, and he's worried that he's, some people, but I'm just like, no, man, it's great. You are so enthusiastic about this time that we spend together and the things that you're building and the things I'm building for you and the things we build together. This collaborative effort, has just been an absolute joy. Whereas this past year, since the beginning of this year, it's been pretty difficult. And the difficulty was trying to figure out, am I doing the right thing after 5 years without anywhere near the results? Well, I'm getting near the results that I was hoping for, number one. But at the beginning of the year, I wasn't. And so I made some changes then. And I'm feeling that there are things about YouTube and creating and trying to interact with folks and trying to engage with folks that I'm learning. And I'm not giving folks enough credit in the fact that they can understand a change like this, because I've been wanting to stop some of the stuff that I'm stopped for a long time. It's not just, this is not a capricious action. This is not a capricious move. I really want to get back to diorama building. I really want to get back to getting longer form videos out where I can take the time to fully explain it. One of the things that really happened in my long form videos as of late was they were all sped up, they were all fast, they were all, I'm showing you, but I'm just showing you. I'm not showing you how to do something as much. I was just showing you. And that was something I said I always never wanted to do. Well, I fell right into it because of the crush of trying to get a video out, the need to get it out under other constraints because of my time. This show right now, I would start at 7 o'clock Friday morning, and a few times as the show started, at noon, I was still putting stuff together. It takes a long time to put all this stuff together, and for the amount of response, feedback, stuff. It's not that it's not valuable, but there's not an equitable return on effort. And I hope that's not hurting anybody's feelings, there has to be a proper view of that on my side, even if it maybe hurts a little bit. I have to have a proper understanding of, look, you're doing something here that is actually taking away from your ability to do the other things that you need to do to be successful at it. I was running it into the ground. So that's the heavier stuff, but I really, really am loving where it's going. Hey, Bob is on here. Please try this. It's something you need and want to know. Thanks, Bob. I really appreciate it. Hey, Link is there too. Thanks very much, Link. I really, really appreciate it. And then, I'm sorry, Bob has had a few comments here that I missed. Hey, how's it anyways, everyone? Glad to be able to participate. I'm sorry, was there more on that one? And I missed it? Yeah, no, I got it. Thanks very much for coming in, folks. But yeah, so I wanted everybody to know, and I didn't, and of course Mrs. Modelcraft is like, man, you got to talk to folks. You just can't do that. And I said, I got it. I'm trying to do it in the right way. But the whole point of this is the channel's not in trouble. It's not going away. It's just that I'm really trying to get back to what got me so excited about YouTube in the very first instance, which was the ability to work from home, doing something that I'm so passionate about, giving my knowledge that I'm so thankful that I've been able to grow over these many years to other people and trying to inspire them. And find a way to communicate that in a way that people not only that want to learn something, but I also want my videos to be just fun to watch. I don't want an industrially produced how-to video. That's not the point at all. I want something enjoyable. I've always been somebody that's enjoyed consuming knowledge, if you will, through video means, or visually, I guess is the best way to put it. I was never a great student. I can read, thank you. I'm not illiterate, but I just interpret things, information and things like that so much better visually. And if I read or even see drawings about stuff like that, I can figure it out very nice. But it's only with the ability to create that vision in my head and then watch the vision. Okay? So that gives you some indication of what's going on here. From what I've read about YouTube and people that follow you, you're the same way. You most likely do things the same way. You interpret what you read and stuff like that, but you build a vision in your head. You build that vision. Well, what I'm trying to do with my videos is create that vision that I've built in my head when I understand something, and those are the videos that I want to give you. Those are the videos that I need to put out so that you can interpret, you can learn from it, you can see visually how to do the things that you want to do in diorama building, in some woodworking projects, because we're going to be building cases, for dioramas, displays for dioramas, lots of terrain work. I love terrain work. And 100%, we're going to get back to a multi-level diorama. I have an absolute love for rooms and underground cozy spaces. It's like forts when you were a kid, You live in a beautiful apartment or you have a nice home or whatever, but you're a kid and you want this little space that you built up in a tree out of, secondhand plywood, and that's where you want to be. That's exactly the kind of feeling that I get when I'm building my dioramas with multiple layers and multiple levels, because each of those little rooms, each of those little places I inhabit while I'm building it. I get in there and I'm thinking, and I've explained this a lot of times, how I build out a room is I shrink myself in my imagination to be in that place. So the very first thing I got to do is I got to make that place look like a real place. I got to make that room look like the room is supposed to look if I were that size. So that's the first thing. Then I think of, what am I supposed to do in this little room? What happens in this little room? This room has a purpose. It's here for some reason. What is it? And once I establish those two things, the location, the room itself, and then the reason it exists, then I say, well, I'm just the guy in there that has to do what it is meant to do. And what tools am I going to need, right? So if I'm in a trench and I'm in this little room underground and I'm supposed to be digging a tunnel, I know the tools I'm going to need. I'm a pretty smart feller. I can look it up. And that is exactly the kind of thing I want to teach people if they're having any sort of difficulty getting over that little hump, getting over that little, boy, I'd like to build a diorama, but there's this, because I've looked this up. It's 100% true. Most people don't do something because of one thing. It's not the amass of things that have to be done, because when you say I'm going to do something, whatever it is new, you think about all the things that are going to be needed, and you even know that there's things you're not going to be able to figure out, but that's a given. But there's just one single thing that stops you from starting. There's one thing you haven't figured out. There's one little thing that after you get over that thing, the rest of it just falls into place. I want to provide that. I figured that out for me, right? And I figured out that little philosophy that it's just one thing, and then everything else will come in. I mean, you got to think about these things, and you have to obsess about them a little bit sometimes, and you gotta have a personal connection. But if you're that kind of person where you build things in your head, there's that one little thing that you haven't quite figured out, and it's nagging you, and you can't get going until you figure that out. That's where I want to be. I want to be that person to help you get to the next place, because I love it. I just, when I'm building, when I'm not worrying about, did I get a short out? What if I got a live shot? When I'm building, there is no other joy that I can manufacture for myself, because that's what I'm doing. I'm making myself a place to play, right? A place to imagine, a place to go places that I'm not at right now, an escape portal to some little place, because the world can be rough, I mean, you're watching this today while Trump and Putin are talking in Alaska, right? So there's sometimes you need a little other place to go. And when I'm building dioramas, that's my place to go. So I hope I don't upset folks. That is not my intention. I'm a kind of an empathy, kind of a leaning person. So I really don't want to upset anybody by cutting those things off, but there's a real reason. And the reason, I believe, will justify it, because I believe I'm going to put out better videos for you. I'm going to certainly be able to spend more time in there in my office editing. And I'm going to do all those things that I say, well, I just can't start that because I'm working on this right now. I can't finish that because there's this I got to get done, or there's, all of those things. I just got them out of the way. So I want to get back to some comments, but that is really the gist of today. And I want you to know if I thought about the daily good morning, and I'm going to come back to that because there's some comments here and I just want to get to them, but I really got to get back to that. So anyway, Will says, let's see. Will says, well, I won't say I'm not a little sad, but I understand well what you mean. I will miss your daily posts. That said, I think you're doing the right thing to get where you want to be. Thank you so much, Will. Man, and you remember February. It was so difficult. That was part of it. That day that at the museum, I was having a really rough day because the day before was an anniversary for me. So far as like starting the channel, stuff like that. That was my 5 year anniversary. And I looked at my numbers, and that just snowballed into this massive need for change, this identifying what I'm doing wrong, this whole thing about, am I really doing the right things to go forward in this? Because I do feel like I was stagnating. I number one, these live streams, the nosing off of viewership and stuff like that, it is stale. I'm telling you. And if you enjoy them, thank you so much. They will be available. I'm $3 for my thing. I'm not trivializing that for anyone because that can be a lot of money monthly. You know what I'm saying? But I am saying that is the lowest price that I think I can charge. When I was setting it up, I looked at that because I'm not trying to make money off the memberships, but I am trying to portion things out. But with that portioning, still provide some data that if people really want that, it's there. It's all going to be there. I mean, my old woodworking videos, which again skew how my channel is viewed because those are not specifically diorama building. So all those are in there. So there's woodworking. And all new videos that are going to be on woodworking are going to be on the channel, but they'll be, the focus point will be the diorama display, not like a chair or something like that. So hopefully that's going to make a lot of sense. Jordy, Will says, I for one will support you the best I can. Thanks, Will. And again, this is not me just saying everybody has to buy a membership. Certainly not. Certainly not. Your financial situations are, you deal with that, man, 100%, and I can't recommend even getting the membership. If you have a compelling need and the wherewithal to do it, do it. Great. I welcome it. And I want to also say my comments are always open. You can comment on anything, and I see every single comment. It's it's been difficult getting back to comments lately, just because of all the ruckus in my brain. But I think it's going to calm down now, and I'll be able to get back to comments a lot better. So I'm very happy to take suggestions. I'm very happy to look at bringing things back, possibly once I get things leveled out. But yeah, I got to get this thing out of a nosedive and level off and get to level flight and get a little altitude before we look at any of that. So for now, that's the change. And then Will says, besides what will make times I get to see your work in person, that's much more special, like the Museum of Flight. Yeah, absolutely, Will. And that's the other thing. I'm going to try to now, look, part of me not going to club meetings and stuff was financial. I mean, literally. It's just driving. I live pretty far out, and just driving there and back with gas prices. Now they're better now, right? But I mean, it was literally, I'm thinking in those terms. And it's not like we're destitute. Mrs. Modelcraft has the helm and she's doing amazing. But the channel, and I've explained this before, so I'm not going to go on and on and on about it. But the channel itself, 100% now, and that is working, is 100% now funded by itself. And I hadn't gotten to that place until after February of this year, right? February was, right after the 5 year mark. So it took me 5 years to get YouTube to pay for itself. And that's purely mine. There's people that you see, oh, I got blah, blah, blah in 11 days and they get like 100,000. Well, those are really, really smart people and they're really, really charismatic and they're really whatever. I don't know. But I don't make them videos. So it took me a long time. It is now supporting itself. So the fees that you have to pay for music licensing and domain names and all these different, Google account and all these things are now 100% funded. So that is amazing. I've also had the ability to buy a little bit of gear that I need. I was without a monitor for that. Mrs. Modelcraft offered a few times, right? To say, hey, look, we can do. And I said, look, this is a principled thing. I said I was going to do this, and I made a promise to her in 2020 that this thing would pay for itself. And so I just said, nope, don't. Because when my monitor went down, I had a nice 27-inch monitor that I did my editing on. When that broke earlier this year and I couldn't replace it, Mrs. Modelcraft stepped in and said, oh, yeah, we can, sure. And I said, no, it is the principle of the thing. So I have been, editing just on my laptop. It's these kind of things. It's these kind of things that I have to do for myself to make sure that I have the proper focus to make this thing work. Maybe a little bit of hardship is good. Maybe a little bit of holding back on things is good for me personally. And so that's kind of the reasoning, if you will. I can't apologize for this. I am sorry if I upset people like Will, losing the daily thing and the good mornings and stuff, but I do have thoughts about that. But I don't want to apologize because I do believe it's the proper thing. It is the responsible thing, and it's the way to keep it going, to ensure that I can do this, and hopefully get out. Fact, and this is not fishing for compliments. I got to make better videos. It's just the facts. Because better videos will get more views and it will build the community and everything goes up. But that starts with me editing and putting out the best content I can. I've given myself the time to do it. Now the work starts to do it. So, I really, really appreciate it, folks, and I really appreciate your comments too. Thanks, Bob. When we are on the phone, man, this. It's not. It's not contrived, it is truly a joyous thing when we're working together. It really is. And certainly it's Bob's personality and stuff. We mesh very well, but I certainly think that happens with other people. I used to train corporately. I worked for a coffee manufacturing company. This is 35 years ago, because this is before I worked for the software company, but I worked for a coffee company. They made coffee machines in Bellevue, Washington. Washington, okay, Starbucks, everything like that. And Starbucks was a big thing back then, and well, it is now. But anyway, that's when it was starting back in the early 90s. So I did corporate training about the repair of machinery, how you repair this 300-pound machine that we built. It was a electromechanical it had boilers, it had a freezer in it, it had 2 separate water tanks, it had all this, it had grinders, hoppers, an Italian, all this stuff. And it was this massive machine. And what I would do I was in my mid to late 20s, is I would fly all over the world, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Australia, Argentina, all over the US, all over Canada. And I would go and teach people how to repair it. Now, when I would go overseas and I didn't speak their language, of course, I just immediately picked up their language and was able to communicate with them. Not at all. I don't know English very well. So during that time, I was able to teach people in Japan that didn't speak English. And I'm talking about full teaching how to repair a machine, a full machine, everything, And I think it's some of those skills that I learned back then that I'm going to reintroduce and try to harness, and because it is a very visual training methodology. I couldn't use language. I was literally pointing and then describing and drawing and doing things like that to teach the people in Japan. Really, really big company in Japan, as a matter of fact. They introduced all the coffee machines in the 90s to Japan, this one company. And I got to help them do that. So anyway, I think that kind of training helped me in a method of hopefully communicating on doing specific tasks and doing some kind of procedure. I'm trying to bring that to diorama building, and I'm going to focus on that, but also try to make it as enjoyable as possible. So that is the direction. That is the channel. That's the update. Yeah, I still want to hear from folks, please. That's great to hear. If you should find that you just can't take it anymore, and you just gotta, yeah, that guy. I completely understand. I'm not blind to that, and I'm not just trying to say whatever. You know what I mean? These things concern me, but I hope that you, if you need that daily thing, that maybe you find something else that somebody else is doing that you enjoy as much. But I got to really stick to the long form videos. I really got to do it. And I think I've explained it enough. So now I am rambling, something I do a lot. I'm going to stop rambling now. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, like and subscribe. I am going to be doing many videos. There's going to be a video a week, sometimes more. I released one a couple days ago, kind of show you. I have the D&D diorama not up on the shelf no more. I brought it down because, see, here I go. I'm going off on a tangent. I typically will build my diorama. I would do my shorts during the diorama. That's what the shorts were for, is to kind of get content while I'm building. And then do long form videos after it's built, okay? I did not do that with the D&D diorama. I have a couple of videos out there that were done during the build phase of the D&D diorama, but I have not done full long form videos of the D&D diorama. They are on the docket right now. I'm still working on videos for Bob, and those are great training videos, and those are coming out for you. So I don't know how I'm going to release some of that kind of stuff, because again, those are going to be tucked into the membership area. Some I'll leak out to public just to, help guide folks in. Hey, if you're interested in this, there's more in the membership area. But I'm going to be trying to keep that kind of stuff. I'm pointing at the D&D diorama right now. That's what I'm going to be putting out public, and then my training stuff will be under the or behind the paywall of the membership area. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This has been an awfully long, hey, just a quick thing. So I appreciate you hanging out, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. I am going to get in there and do some more editing, and then tomorrow I'm doing some woodworking. So I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you get a chance to relax this weekend, and we'll see you next time.